Hi, welcome to Vic and Vern Sports Chat. I'm Vic and welcome to our NFL show. We're going to have a review of week 7 and a preview of week 8. But let me tell you guys one important thing. Stay tuned because at the end of the show, I'm going to give you my MVP so far of the season. It'll surprise a lot of you. And if you guys would like, put it in the chat your MVP choice of the season and why you think you should be the MVP. But that'll be at the end of the show, so please stay tuned. But let's get straight into it. Only one place to start, and that was in New Orleans. Beautiful, beautiful city, New Orleans. They played against the Denver Broncos, and they got their asses given to them. They got whipped. What do you say? I mean, the Saints are not in a good position at the moment. I mean, yeah, Derek Carr's injured. They don't have a starting quarterback. There's a lot of turmoil. I just think the Saints are on a rebuild this season. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. Not at 2-5. History shows us. The chance that you make the playoffs if you start 2-5 is very, very, very slim. On the other side, the Broncos, a team I didn't rate that highly at the beginning of the season, but they have started to prove me wrong. They're at 4-3. At 4-3, you can still make the playoffs. Definitely. Will they make the playoffs? I'm not quite that sure yet, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not. I don't know. The Broncos give me a headache. I like Bo Nix, but I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. But 4-3 obviously gives them a good opportunity. Let's have a look at some of the stats from this game. There you see both quarterbacks didn't score a touchdown. So there was no throwing touchdowns in this game. Javonte Williams, I'll get into him a little bit later. Franklin did well, but stats are out there for you guys to check. It wasn't the Broncos were just too dominant. They got a good defense. The Broncos have always had a good defense. So not that the New Orleans Saints can challenge a defense at the moment. They're not looking good at all. They're definitely not looking good at all. For me, player of the game, Javonte Williams. Hey, kind of beefed up like him too. Nah, just joking. Fantastic game. Good young man playing well. I think he'll have good numbers for this whole season. And the Broncos with Javonte Williams in this form have a chance. They have a chance. But we'll see what the next weeks bring. Denver has a tough schedule coming up, so we'll check that out. Let's move on to the second game of last week. Game 2 between the Patriots and the Jaguars. This one was played in London. 88,000 people in London. Unbelievable crowd, great atmosphere. It was a home game for the Jaguars. Oh, it breaks my heart, but my Patriots are not doing well this year. They are definitely not doing well this year. They lost this one 16-32 against the Jaguars. One good thing, Patriots, it looks more and more like we have a quarterback for the future. Drake May looked good. You got Hunter Henry was solid. But is that enough at the moment? No, clearly not. Our defense is not up to snuff. But on the other hand, you got to give it to the Jaguars playing well. Trevor Lawrence, solid game. It's one of the few games he hasn't had a turnover since he's been in the league. The running game was fantastic. Patriots can't stop the run at the moment. Brian Thomas was good. A nice touchdown there. So, yeah. Stats speak for themselves. Well-deserved win by the Jaguars, even though it hurts me to say that. For me, I chose two players in this game that I thought were worthy of a shout-out and a mention. Brian Thomas, like I said, good, solid performance, great touchdown. I like Brian Thomas. Got a lot of speed, catches the ball well. He does a lot of things right. Trevor Lawrence can't say he doesn't have enough weapons out there. He's got the weapons, definitely. And then the second player that I thought was really good for the Jaguars, Tank Bigsby. He excuse the punt, but he was tanking his way through a lot of these defensive players for the Patriots. He was doing really well. So that's my player of the game. Definitely Tank Bigsby. What did the future hold for both these teams? Nothing good. I mean, 1-6. Everybody knows that 1-6, no team has ever made the playoffs. So season over for the Patriots. Work on your young quarterback, get him ready for next season, get a few good draft picks, and we'll see the Patriots next year again. Jaguars, 2-5, not making the playoffs either. It's disappointing. The Jaguars have been disappointing this season. I expected a lot more from Trevor Lawrence. But hey, look, it is what it is. If you're a Jaguars fan, it's going to be a tough season as well. These two teams are definitely not class of the NFL at the moment. But we'll see what comes in the weeks to come. All right. So we'll move on to Game 3. Then, hey, our next game, Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer than it was. But it wasn't. I mean, it was just a defensive demonstration from the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense played out of their skin. They played really well. I mean, I didn't expect Atlanta to look this bad at home. Captain Kirk definitely needed to beam up some better plays because they were not doing well there at all. But what can I say? I mean, the Seahawks. Shout out, first of all, to Dominic, big Seahawks fan. He's going to be in Seattle next week to watch the Bills game. So, hey, Dominic, shout out to us there from Seattle. Maybe send a few pictures over from the live game. That would really help us out. But, Seattle, for me, this season is like a roller coaster. Up and down, up and down, up and down. For you, Dominic, going to Seattle, I hope it's an up this week. It's going to be a tough one against those Bills. But, this week, you guys proved everybody wrong. I didn't think you were going to beat Atlanta in Atlanta. But, hey, look, Geno Smith played well, solid. For me, DK Metcalf had some unbelievable plays. Quite worried for him there at one stage. I thought he could get into a concussion protocol and maybe miss out this week. But no, it looks like good news for the Seahawks fans. Metcalf will be playing this week against the Bills. Was this a slip by the Atlanta Falcons? Maybe. I mean, look, Falcons, you can't afford to lose too many home games because it's between you and Tampa Bay for the division. I still put Tampa a little bit higher than you guys. But, I think it's definitely between you and Tampa. And if Kirk Cousins can turn back into Captain Kirk and beam some good plays up, everything will be all right. Like I said, for me, the guy, the man, whoever you want to call him, of the game, Metcalf, DJ Metcalf, I love him. I think he is an unbelievable wide receiver. He brings everything. He brings speed, tenacity, power, strength. For me, he's one of the top 5 receivers in the league. So, it's going to be exciting to watch that game between the Bills and the Seahawks. I hope I can watch that game on TV live. So, Dominic, wave a flag so we can see you there in Seattle. And, we'll see what comes next week. Huh? Then we'll move on to our next game. Then our next game was the Tennessee Titans against the Buffalo Bills. The Tennessee Titans started off well. They were 10-7 up at halftime, and then the Bills just turned on the jetpack and they just blew them away. 27 unanswered points in the second half. Not a good game from the Tennessee Titans. But hey, look, the Tennessee Titans, don't expect too much from them. In any case, not a good football team. They're on to their next quarterback with Rudolph. It's just not a good football team. 1-5 season's definitely over for them. The Bills look like they could win their division because the Jets, we'll get into them later, but they are definitely not producing the way they should be. I mean, Buffalo's got the weapons. Amari Cooper scored his first touchdown for the Bills. That was very good. But the main man, of course, only one place to go. Main guy on this one, definitely Josh Allen. He played solid. I mean, over 300 yards, throwing for touchdowns. And I mean, he is such a threat in the running game as well. And, he's not that kind of runner like Lamar Jackson, quick and pacey. He can basically tank his way through. Josh Allen is built like a running back, man. I mean, Josh Allen, I like Josh Allen. A lot of people give him a lot of stick in the NFL. I think he's top 5 quarterback in the NFL for me. I think the Bills, you're on a good way. So Bills Mafia out there, don't worry, you're on a good way. Playoffs guaranteed because you have nobody in your division that can challenge you. Patriots are too weak. The Miami Dolphins too injured. Maybe Tua comes back. We'll get into that later. And and the Jets are the Jets. I mean, Jesus, they've been the Jets for like 100 years. I mean, yeah, they're just a terrible run franchise. So this was a good win for you guys in Buffalo, and keep it up. But you got a tough game. I mentioned it before. You guys are going to Seattle. The Bills will turn up. The question is which Seattle team turns up. Huh? For Dominique, I hope it's the right Seattle team. But Bills fans, doing well. Tennessee Titans fans, there's always next season. And how? Come on. Our next game was a funny football game. If you don't look at the score that's at the bottom here, and you just looked at the statistics, you would have thought the Cleveland Browns won this game. They had more rushing yards. They had more passing yards. The story of this game is Cleveland and their quarterbacks. Everybody knows, not the biggest fan of Deshaun Watson, but I'll get into that afterwards. I'm just going to show you quickly the stats from this week. Joe Burrows, once again, solid. Not his most flamboyant game ever, but solid. They got the win. For me, the story of this game was definitely good Bengals defense, and Cleveland's looking for a new quarterback. And not for the reason that you might think. Cleveland is looking for a new quarterback because the main guy for them, who I thought has been abysmal this season, I thought they should have made the change, but maybe they knew more than we did. Deshaun Watson, I mean, actually played a good game, good yardage, everything, and then looks like he tore his ACL. And then what everybody was calling for the last few games is, Deshaun Watson's got to go out, he's got to be benched, got to give another quarterback a chance. And they brought in their second string quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and he had a shit show. So what did the coach do? Yanked his ass and brought in Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston looked a little bit more solid. I hear he's going to be the starter for the Browns next week and going forward because Watson's done for the season. Cleveland's done for the season. I mean, it's over. It's done. It's finished. For me, because I always shout out and pick the player of the game as an offensive player, this time I'm going to change it around. And I'm going to pick a defensive player, Hendrickson. 2 sacks, been playing well this season. They had 7 sacks in the first 7 games. So I'm going to shout out for a defensive player, not always those offensive players. They win the MVP in any case at the end of the year. There's no chance a defensive player ever gets the MVP. So I'm shouting out for this defensive player. Bengals, slowly but surely, they are starting to roll. 3-4 now. They need to keep that going because for me, Bengals are definitely a playoff team. Their record doesn't suggest it, but I think they make the playoffs 100%. But the Browns are done for the season. Their quarterback's done for the season. Start planning for 2025, 2026 season. That's it. And for the Bengals, everything to play for. Let's keep it up. I'm a big fan of Joe Cool and the Bengals. So we'll see what happens to them in the next few weeks. Great game by them. Then we get into a big game. A big game. The Texans at the Packers. I thought this was going to be a very high-class, interesting game, and it was. I was a little bit disappointed with CJ Stroud. He didn't turn up for me. He didn't turn up for this one where Jordan Love did. Jordan Love definitely did. But it was an exciting game. It was back and forth. This was decided by field goal at the end. Two teams definitely heading in the right direction. Both teams heading to the playoffs. I still, even though the Packers won this one, I still see the Texans being the stronger team. I enjoyed the Texans a lot watching them. I like CJ Stroud, but I got to hand it to Jordan Love. He has impressed me in the last 2-3 games, playing really, really well. So obviously that it's no surprise to anybody who my man of the match is going to be. Jordan Love. A lot of love for Jordan Love, huh? Green Bay, I just like Green Bay as a franchise. You know, it's that traditional no billionaire owner. I like that model. I love that. I wish my football team would have that. So these two teams going in the right direction. I don't see any problems for them reaching the playoffs, both of them. And then we'll see what happens. But Green Bay on a march at the moment, playing really, really well in a very, very competitive division there. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens in their division. Huh? Okay, and then the Dolphins, they traveled to Indianapolis to play against the Colts. This one went out 10 for the Dolphins, 16 for the Colts. At the moment, not two very good football teams. But, hey, look, shout out to Anthony Richards. Glad that you're back. I thought they would have stuck with Flacco, but hey, no, I like the young man. Played well, good rushing, good passing. Didn't have a touchdown, but that's fine. I mean, you know, it's a young man. He needs to build himself up slowly but surely. Dolphins, on the other hand, yeah, good news for you maybe. We've heard this week Tua is supposed to come back. Listen here, I fear for Tua. I like Tua, but I fear for me. I think he's just one more concussion away from end of story, end of career. He's had too many concussions. He's been in the league, 3 years now? I think three years. And I mean, he's been the most concussed player in the league. Either he's got to change his style of quarterbacking, or he's got to get better protection. But you got to get rid of the ball quicker too. You cannot take those hard hits anymore. And forget about running the ball. Just pass the goddamn ball, because I don't want you to be knocked out of the NFL. Just be ashamed for such a young man. On the other hand, okay, you're not making the playoffs. I don't know how much you risk to this season. Colts are not making the playoffs either. I mean, without Anthony Taylor, they're maybe the best running back in the league. With Derrick Henry, almost forgot Derrick Henry there. Yeah, Colts, I'd see two teams not making the playoffs. So, yeah, not a lot much else I want to say about the game. For me, the man of the match, or the man of the game, was definitely Anthony Richardson. I like him. I think he's got a good future. That side, Anthony Richardson. There you go. Keep it up, young man, and just stay healthy. Most important thing in football, you know. Like I say, the best ability is availability. Remember that. Then the game of the week for me, the game I was totally looking forward to, and it didn't disappoint. What a game it was. The Lions at the Vikings, two teams, same division, vying for the number one spot. Vikings were unbeaten before this game. Sam Darnold looked like he was playing prime Joe Montana, so he's looking good. But those Detroit Lions, I got you boys in the Super Bowl, remember, so don't let me down. Detroit Lions played really well. They won it on a last-second field goal, but it was a deserved win. It was an exciting game. Look, let's be honest, it could have gone anyway. But I just enjoyed watching it. Just a good football game, good scoring, good offense. Yeah, let me show you the stats from that game, especially the offensive stats. Yeah, I mean, both quarterbacks did well. Sam Darnold doing very well. Yeah, interception, of course, that hurts, but otherwise, now you can't say anything. And Jared Goff, we'll get to Jared Goff right at the end. Jared Goff, for me, unbelievable. He's just not making any mistakes, and that's what, with the team that they have, the defense that they have, the offense that they have. If you have a quarterback that is just solid and making almost no mistakes, you're going to go very, very far. So I've got you guys in the Super Bowl. I've actually got you guys as my Super Bowl winners this year. So don't let me down. Keep it up. Man of the match. I'm not going to give one player the man of the match. The three guys on this side of the screen, all three, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Achilles St. Brown. I'm going to give it to all three of them. In each department, in rushing, in receiving, and in quarterback play, they all three did a fantastic job. So well done to the Lions. They keep on rolling. Vikings, not a problem. They'll bounce back. It's a solid, good team. Want to see how Sam Darnold, I mean, he's been on a high. He's ridden the wave of winning. Let's see what happens now with the first loss in the books.
Does Cinderella turn back into that pumpkin everybody believes he is? I don't. I think Sam Donalds is a solid quarterback. But what a game. 31-29, last second field goal. Things are looking good for both these teams. Both these teams are, for me, playoff bound. Bar injury always. You never know what happens with the injury. So fantastic football game. I hope there's a few of those games this week. Then another game. If not that interesting. If it's going for the divisional titles and who's going to the Super Bowl, this game's not interesting. Philadelphia, I think you can rival Dallas for the second spot in your division, because I don't think but any of you are overtaking the Commanders right now. Right now, I think the Commanders have the best quarterback in that division. I like Dak. I like Jalen Hurts. Daniel Jones. That experiment has definitely failed in New York. And then, I mean, it was the game of Saquon Barkley, the ex-Giant. He got traded last year from the Giants to the Eagles, and he just turned up and destroyed his old team. I mean, he got a lot of shit from the fans, typical New Yorkers. I mean, obviously, New York, Philadelphia, big rivalry. He got abuse from those New York fans, and he gave it back to them. I mean, he ran for 167 yards and a touchdown. He was just goddamn stoppable. I mean, he was making the New York defense look like chumps. Saquon was good. Jalen Hurts played well. A.J. Brown played well. New York is just a bad football team. How far the mighty have fallen. Not just the Patriots, the Giants as well. How far the mighty have fallen. I mean, the last few years have just been a shit show for the Giants. Eagles at 4-2. Some big games coming up for them. We've got a lot of inter-divisional games. The Cowboys coming up. The Commanders coming up. We'll see. Those are the games that are going to decide which one of these teams get into the playoffs. I don't think any of these teams will get into the playoffs if you don't do it over winning that division of yours. And at the moment, hey, listen here. I've been shone upon. I didn't have the Commanders on my radar all season, and I have the Commanders on my radars now. I believe in you, Commanders. Remember that. But this game was just, the Eagles showed up 28-3. What can you say? But the Giants are one of the worst teams in football right now. I might even say they might be worse than my Patriots, and that's saying a lot at the moment. But look, got to give it to the man. So let's put him up there. Definitely got to give it to Saquon Barkley. Hail Saquon, top 5 running back in the league. Definitely, I mean, he must be so happy he's not in New York. And I mean, and New York fans. I mean, all the booing, booing. But I mean, you wouldn't have changed your season because you got a shit team. And it's good for Saquon. I think you find a good home in Philadelphia. I like the fit for them. And let's see what the Eagles do for the rest of the season. And then we get into a football game that I don't really want to talk about. I mean, the Raiders suck. The biggest question on the Raiders, do you trade Crosby? I mean, if I'm Crosby, I want out of there. There's a lot of teams that need somebody like Matt Crosby. Let's see what happens to you. That's the biggest question for me. Otherwise, look, the Rams won a game. They're 2-4. The Raiders are 2-5. I actually had more hope for the Rams this season. I thought they could make the playoffs, but this way, Sean McVay, I don't know what's going on there in Rams country. I mean, like I said a few weeks ago, is there something in the California water at the moment? 49ers not doing well. Rams not doing well. Chargers not doing well. I don't know. LA, you got to check something. So, there's something in the air, not enough sunshine. I don't know what's wrong, but the LA teams are doing shit. I mean, look, the stats are up there. Let's get to the next team. These two are just two terrible football teams. Don't want to talk about them. Then we get into the next game that I was looking forward to because I'm a new Commanders supporter. I love the Commanders at the moment. Listen here. First place to start. Jaden Daniels. First few minutes of the game. Bam. Rib injury. He's out. All Commander fans. Hands in their head. Or the head in their hands. Total shock. Marcus Mariota comes on and he plays a stunner. Now that tells me that this team is intact. This team is intact. The starting quarterback went out. The backup quarterback came in. I mean, Marcus Mariota is an okay quarterback. He's not a scrub. He comes in and he does a fantastic job. 2 touchdowns, 205 yards, no interceptions. Numbers are there for you guys to see. So they just blow out the Carolina Panthers at home. They blow out the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Panthers came to Washington and they didn't have a hope in hell. Andy Dalton didn't look... Gingerbread Man didn't look so good this week. Our red-headed monster. Panthers, Patriots, they're all vying for that number 1 pick at the moment. At the number 1 pick. So yeah, not a good day in the office for the Panthers. But the Commanders are looking strong at 5-2. I'm giving my man of the match to Marcus Mariota because it's not easy coming off the bench as a backup and then playing such a stunning game. So Marcus Mariota, keep it up. Let's hope that Jaden Daniels is back for the next game. And if not, don't worry, Commander fans. You've got a good backup. And that is the sign of a good football team. That if you have a good backup quarterback, you'll be all right. And they have that. I think Marcus Mariota hasn't had a lot of luck in his career, but I think Washington is a good fit for him. But obviously, the minute that Daniels is healthy, they're going to go back to him. But do your job. Like Bill Belichick would always say, just do your job. And Marcus Mariota did his job. So that was a good game by the Commanders. And listen here, they're leading their division. They're 5-2. I think they win the division. I can't see the Cowboys or the Giants or the Eagles beating them at the moment, because at the moment they look like the best team out of the lot. But then we move on to the next game. That was a game that everybody was looking forward to. The Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers in Levi Stadium down there in San Francisco. I didn't think it was going to be this result, 28-18 for the Chiefs. Chiefs, only unbeaten team left in the National Football League, so hats off to them. Patrick Mahomes. Let's start off with Patrick Mahomes. Again, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. And everybody would look at that stat line and say, shit show. Wrong. This guy is not having his best season passing the ball. A lot of turnovers. He's got more turnovers than he got touchdowns. But this boy finds ways to win. He's a winner. I mean, the one touchdown that he ran into the end zone, he runs in, the defender comes there and he just drops his shoulder and he knocks the shit out of the defender. I mean, that was stunning. And a lot of other plays, he did really well with his feet. I mean, yes, he's got Kareem Hunt that did well, 2 touchdowns, 78 yards. But I got to go. Only one place that I can go. My man of the match, even though he had 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. If you look up the word winner in the dictionary right now for an NFL player, it's Patrick Mahomes. The boy knows how to win. I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan in the world, believe me, but hats off to them. I mean, they got a super coach. They got a good team. Looks like they're going to pick up another wide receiver, which they need because Rashid Rice is out. But you got Patrick Mahomes. This boy finds ways to win. If he can't do it with his arm because he's not good that week, not throwing touchdowns, he does it with his legs. He'll do it with the trick play. This boy just gets wins. So the team to beat in the NFL at the moment, Kansas City Chiefs, 6-0 to start the season. Fantastic. Then we get into a game that was well anticipated by everybody. Everybody expected this to be a gunslinging shootout because you do have 2 of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league playing against each other. One hand you have Lamar Jackson, the other hand you have Baker. Baker is like, I don't give a shit about anything. He will sling it all over the park. And he did. He went for 370 yards. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's just Baker at the moment. Actually, at the beginning, the Buccaneers, they were dominating the game at the beginning. I thought, this is going to be a big surprise. Buccaneers are going to take this one, but then the Ravens just took over the game. They took over. Lamar Jackson took over the game. I mean, look, let me show you the stats. I mean, the stats from the from the Ravens is fantastic. I mean, Lamar, 281, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry, 169 yards. He didn't have a touchdown today. Surprise, surprise. And then Rashad Bateman, 4 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. So there's not a lot you can say about it. But it was a good game, 41-31 for the Ravens in Tampa. Tampa's now 4-3. I still think Tampa go to the playoffs. I still think they'll win the division. I don't think the other teams in the division are strong enough. And the Ravens, like I said, the Ravens are my Super Bowl pick to go to the Super Bowl, to play against the Lions, where they will lose, is what I'm tipping at the moment. But we got to talk about that 3-headed monster of the Ravens, and here they are, the 3 kings, the big king in the middle, King Henry, and I mean, if you have these kind of players, I mean, if you have a running back who can deliver that kind of yardage, you have a wide receiver that 4 catches and he gets 121 yards and a touchdown. And then Lamar Jackson, I mean, anytime a quarterback has 5 touchdowns in a game, you know he's played well. And he didn't have an interception. He did a lot with his feet as well. The Ravens, they started this. I mean, they are the second best team on a win streak at the moment in the NFL, because they've won the last 5 games. They lost the first 2, and now they are 5-2. So the Ravens are definitely in the right mindset. They're going forward. Anybody playing the Ravens right now, it's not looking good for you guys. You don't want to play the Ravens right now. The Ravens are very, very dominant. I'm looking forward to the next week's games of the Ravens, so we'll see that. But yeah, just a good football team to watch with 2 good football coaches on the sidelines. Yeah, you got to talk about Tampa just for a little second. Godwin could be out for the season. Mike Evans, they risked him. He played well until he got a little niggle back on his hamstring. Is he out? If Godwin and Evans is out, then it's going to be tough for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to be really tough because Baker alone's not going to do it. They do have good running backs, but yeah, it's tough. But injuries part of the NFL. So let's move on. Then we get into the last game of the week, the Monday night game. Chargers against the Cardinals. I thought the Chargers were going to win this one. They didn't. Cardinals played well at home there in Arizona, in Phoenix, or what is it, Glendale, Scottsdale, wherever they play. Not a big fan of the Cardinals. Look, good game of football, tight, 2 good defenses. Justin Herbert threw for 449. But hey, got to give it to Kyler Murray. He got the job done. They won this one 17-15. Man of the match, or the man of the game, whatever you guys like to call it, is definitely for me James Conner. He was sensational. Saw his stats there a second ago. I mean, he ran the ball well. He received the ball well. He did everything well. So James Conner, hats off to you. Oh, that side, good job. Definitely a good job. And yeah, let's look at the stats from James Conner again. I mean, hey, 19 carries for 101 yards. 2 receptions for 51 yards. He didn't get a touchdown, but hey, listen here, good game by him. Very good game by him. I was happy for him. He moved around a little bit. He was once in Pittsburgh. I think he's found a good home there in Arizona. And yeah, I'm still worried about all the LA teams. I still think there's something wrong with the water in LA. There's something wrong with the water out there. But not a win for one of the 3 LA teams this weekend. Sorry. For the California teams, not for the LA teams. For the California teams, no wins. Sun ain't shining in California at the moment. I say it never rains. It's pouring right now at the moment. But yeah, let's see. Hey, that's week 7. And now we get on to week 8. And I mean, yeah, like I say, on any given Sunday, anything's possible. Let's see what the teams do in week 8. Let me just put that up there for you guys quickly. What we've got coming up for week 8. Here we go, for week 8. So it all starts in a few hours' time. Monday night, Minnesota travel to Los Angeles. On form, you can only see a Minnesota win here. Saying that, most probably the Rams are going to win. Just because I said that, I must probably jinx the Minnesota Vikings right now. Their fans are going to be on my case afterwards. Normally, Minnesota win this one. Then Philadelphia travel to Cincinnati on Sunday. I'm hoping for Cincinnati. I think it's going to be a tight game. But this could go any way. I think it is decided by a field goal each way. The Ravens go to Cleveland. Bang! Win for the Ravens. This could be another. It's going to be like a massacre. See what the Cleveland does without Deshaun Watson. Jameis Winston should start that, but I mean the three-headed monster, Bateman, King Henry, and Lamar Jackson. They're going to field day in. I think this could be the highest score in the NFL this year. I think the Ravens get over 60 points. You heard it here first. If you're a betting person, I'd go for the Ravens to get 60. Tennessee at Detroit. Another easy win for Detroit. Can't see the Titans doing anything. Arizona go to Miami. Is Tua back? I hope so. Sounds very promising. If he's back, I think the whole team will be lifted. So I'm going to go the Miami win here. New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Bing, bing, bing. Alarm, alarm, alarm. Upset alert. Upset alert. The Patriots, my team. The Jets are going down. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a shit show. The Jets are going down. I'm watching this one. This is the upset of the week. Upset alert called by Vic. Atlanta against Tampa Bay. Big game for both of them. Same division. I think Tampa Bay should just nick this one. If Tampa Bay nick this one, I think they'll be on their way to winning the division. Atlanta do need to get this one if they want anything to say in the division. And then Green Bay against Jacksonville. That's just another easy win for Green Bay. Jacksonville's a terrible football team, so I don't think they'll do anything exciting. Then still got that going. All right, got to go get that away. There you go. See if I can do that right now. Then we have Indianapolis going to Houston. See if does CJ Stroud play, yes or no, but I think so. Houston, no problems here. New Orleans, Los Angeles. I think an LA team will win this week, and it's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. Buffalo, Seattle, big game for our friend out there. Dominique was traveling all the way from Switzerland to Seattle to watch this game. For you, I hope it's a Seattle win. I see this also being very close. I think this could be an overtime game. Flip of a coin. Just because of you, Dominic, I'm going to go with the Seattle this week. Then Carolina at Denver. Mile High, no chance. Denver's doing this. Bo Nix will take care of business. Kansas City, Las Vegas. Does anybody in their right mind think that Las Vegas can win this game? No. Kansas City going to 7-0. Mahomes will find a way to win it. Chicago at Washington. Could be an interesting game. Bears are not that bad this season. Let's see who plays a quarterback for Washington. But I'm going to go with Washington here. I think Washington get this one. Dallas Cowboys, that pathetic team that calls themselves America's team, a bunch of posers, going to San Francisco. Two teams that are not in good shape at the moment. I trust San Francisco more here. I think Dallas will have another shit show. I'm going for a San Francisco blowout. And then there's only one game on Monday night this week. New York Giants against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can't say anything about a Steelers win here. I think Russell Wilson, I know he's starting. Well, I know. That's what they said. He's starting. I think Russell Wilson had a good game last week. Can't say anything about a big Steelers win here. So that's our preview for week 8. Then I did promise you guys something. I said I was going to tell you who my MVP choice was for this season. And at the moment, this is just a little cutout of the first 7 weeks. I think this man that's coming on the screen right now, I hope I get the right one. There you go. I think the MVP for this week, for this season so far, is Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff gets his team winning. He is constant. Good quarterback rating. He's making a lot less mistakes than last year. I think he's the MVP for this year. I've got them going to the Super Bowl and winning it. If there's anybody out there that at the moment is challenging him for the MVP, it's got to be this man, Lamar Jackson. I think at the moment it's a tight race. Look, most people would go with Lamar Jackson because he is the household favorite or whatever. But like I said, I was gonna go with a little bit of an upset, I think Jared Goff, for me, he's the MVP of this season. But we'll see. I mean, yeah, there's a few weeks to go in the NFL still, and we'll see what happens. This week will tell us a lot about these two guys in the MVP race. I mean, they both got easy wins this week. I think I'll put up big numbers. But those are my how do you say, my bets for the MVP race. But for me at the moment, Jared Goff in the lead. If you think differently, let us know. Hit a message out there. Tell me what you think, and we'll see. So enjoy week 8. Going to be a lot of good games, and we'll see you next week, same time. Thanks a lot. Ciao, ciao.